And it is still cold here in Michigan. For those of you that are not here in Michigan, it was snowing this morning when I left. Yes, it was very cold. It was snowing. And so went to the gym this morning and got my 30 minutes in of cardio walking today. And then I came in and did a lot of paperwork. Yeah, computer work. It's not paperwork anymore. It's computer work now. And so, and I decided to stay here in the office and broadcast tonight, Medical Monday, here from my office here in Southfield. Yes, I'm Dr. Grace Patterson, affectionately known as Dr. Grace. Yes, I'm the managing owner of Bethesda Holistic Center and everything new. Um, Creating the best you from the inside out. So please like, invite, and share before we go into the topic on tonight. For those of you that are coming on or watching the replay, I really thank you for taking time out to invest time in learning and educating yourself in regards to your health. The only way that you can be the best you that you can be is that you have to have the information. One of my good friends, that I consider my sister in the Lord, my big sister, Dr. Jill Tanker. She says the difference between the poor and the wealthy is information. So that not only goes for the money saving practices, but that also goes towards your health. Hey, Kim Cole, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. Hey, Marvin, thank you. Please like, invite, and share. We're going to be talking why you should consider not eating white, I'm gonna say white products, because some of the things that we put in our mouth and consume, I question whether or not it's really food. So, but we're going to be talking about that. So please like, invite, and share. Please get on, and I really appreciate you guys getting on and telling people about Medical Monday. For those of you under the sound of my voice, do you tell people about me? If you are, can you do some thumbs up? I mean, can you tell me whether you have not, um, you know, told anybody about Dr. Grace and the information that she's providing and how it has affected and changed your life? Could you please do me a favor? If you have, I want you to go to the Medical Monday page and post something. Tell them whatever I said or whatever you took away from the night's topic, how it affected you and how it made you make a lifestyle change. That's what we're doing here at Bethesda Holistic Center. Everything new. Yes, is trying to educate you for you to be the best you that you can be. We're located in the Metro Detroit area. Our address is 21411 Civic Center Drive, Southfield, Michigan 48076. Our telephone number is 248 356 1111. That's 248 356 1111. That's how you can reach us by telephone. And by internet, you can go to www.bw-center.com. That is our web address. Yes. And for the download tonight, please, we put a lot of time in these downloads for you guys. So we would like, and it's FREE, my favorite four-letter word. It's free. Please go to www.bw-center.com/MM for Medical Monday. That way you can have the download. And then, hey, Linnell, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. So that way you can have the download and you can go back and look at it and refer to it and read it, do your own research along with the information that we provide for you. And then anytime we have any special events, if we have any special promos, we have your information and we can share it with you. So, we're in the new age of technology. So that's how things go now. So we would like for you to go to bw-center.com/MM for Medical Monday. Now, I know some people have been saying that they've been having a challenge with getting on the Medical Monday page. I mean, come on now. I don't know what to do about that. I guess it's the powers that be. But I plead the blood of Jesus over that. I decree and declare that the people that needs to hear this will hear it at the time that they need to hear it, and that they will get the information that they need to be the best them that they can be from the inside out. So come on, guys. It is now 8:05. I'm gonna give people a few more moments to get on. Please like, invite, and share. We're gonna be talking about consider not eating white products, your food choices. Hey, Tanisa, let me see what Tanisa, it says Tanisa posted to my timeline. Um, most of the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we're live on YouTube and Facebook Live. So let's go ahead. We're going to get started. One of my favorite topics is talking about bread. Um, One of the reasons why, well, that's number one. That's a white product, and it's bread. Bread is not traditionally white. It's not. It's not. It's made to be white for cosmetic reasons, not for nutritious reasons. I don't like. I don't even understand why they even do it. Okay, so bread, they bleach the flour, and you guys can redo your research. They bleach the flour by using the same bleaching chemicals that we use to bleach our clothes. Yes, let me say that again. They bleach the flour and they use the same type of chemicals that we use to bleach our clothes. So, bleaching the flour. Hey, Gwendolyn, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. I appreciate you joining on. So, they bleach the flour to make it white. Well, I don't know why they want it white. I have no idea why they want it white. I don't know if it's cosmetically, aesthetically pleasing to the eye on the plate. I haven't, maybe I need to do research on that. I don't know. I have no idea why they want to do that. So once they bleach the flour, the residual chemical from bleaching is still in the flour. So then you put all the ingredients in there in the flour, the flour to make the bread or whatever the case may be. So you have the bleach flour, because flour is not normally white. They bleach it with chemicals, and they add yeast, which I told you guys last week. I gave you a little blurb that yeast is a fungus. So now you have processed flour that's been bleached by a chemical, adding a yeast, which is a fungus, and then they bake it, and then we consume it. So, but then it's, your body is like, what is this? I don't know what to do with this. So when your body doesn't know what to do with something, the number one reaction of the body is to store it in as fat in the fat cells, because the fat cells are protective. So if you have toxins inside of a fat cell, it can't go throughout and toxify the rest of the body. So you need to understand that if you want to be a bread eater, which has sugar in it or a carb in it, all sugars are not created equal, and all sugars are not bad. It's the amount of sugars is what makes things bad. Okay, so I'm gonna go down that road in a minute, but let's stay here with the bread right here, right now. So we talked about bleaching the flour, which is a chemical process, adding yeast to it, which is a fungus, and then you got all this stuff, and then a person ingests it. Your body don't know what to do with it, and then your body either takes it and makes sugar, or it'll take it and store it in fat because it's a toxin to the body, because your body doesn't know what to do with that toxin. So when you eat bread, you should eat whole wheat bread. That means that the flour process or the grain has not been processed or taken through a process. With bleaching and all that other kind of stuff. Hey, Brother Green, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. So, excuse me. So that's what you want in regards to your bread. Now, there are certain type of breads that are out there that are on the shelves now. You have traditional wheat bread or white bread, and then you have wheat bread that's labeled wheat bread, and then you have a label that says whole grain wheat bread. And I've talked about this before in some of my previous videos, so we're going to review this right now. Wheat bread, as they call it, is white bread dyed brown. So now you shouldn't. My thing is, why did you bleach the flour? If you want the bread to stay brown, just don't bleach it so it can stay brown. But okay, that's just me talking. But they bleach it to turn it white, and then so they're like, okay, people are trying to be more health conscious. So let's take this white bread that we bleached the flour. Now we're going to add some brown dye. So you have a chemical process that bleached the flour, and then you have the residual of the bleach. Then you have the yeast that you add, which is a fungus, and then you're going to add a dye to it to turn it brown. So they call it wheat bread. So they're not lying to you, because guess what? All bread is made of wheat. So it is a play on words. So then you have whole grain or whole wheat bread. I tell you guys, when you go to the supermarket, do this experiment yourself. Go get the white bread that's made by that company that starts with a W, and hold it in your hand, and the wheat bread dyed brown, and then the whole grain. You can feel that the whole grain is much heavier. So that is a more healthier choice. And then there's also a bread out there that is called Ezekiel bread, which is actually a formulation of bread products that's, hey, Renita, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share, let people know that we're on Medical Monday on tonight. And that it is an actual recipe that's in the Bible that makes bread. So, and it's made it from sprouted seeds of sprouted wheat, okay. So and so it's a good bread, and it's a more healthier choice. So it's a more of a what we call a complex carbohydrate. Okay, so you want it to be a complex carbohydrate versus what we call a simple one, which rolls me in. No, not yet. We're going to talk about rice right here. Okay, let's talk about rice. Okay, you have white rice versus brown rice. So my question was, when I started doing this research, because I told you that we only have a week of nutrition in medical school. Yeah, you heard me right. Just a week of nutrition in medical school. It was a week. But anyway, so white rice versus brown rice. Here in America, again, we like to process stuff. Let's just be real, process it. So they like to also process rice. So in my head, I'm like, you know, our Asian brothers and sisters, they eat rice their whole life, and they're out in the fields, and they have the rice fields that are in water. You guys seen, you know, movies or seeing on television or whatever. They eat rice, there's no problem, or whatever the case may be. So let's talk about that for one moment. Being why white rice versus brown rice. In my mind, the white rice is okay if you don't take it through a process. But being that it is white, it is broken down to a simple sugar much faster. The brown rice is more of a grain, which has its covering still on it through the process. Because if brown rice, real brown rice, takes longer to cook. Let me say that again. Real brown rice takes longer to cook. So versus our white rice, because of its because it's considered a grain in the grain family. So it takes a little bit longer to cook. But the reason why white rice, like I was talking about our Asian brothers and sisters, that it doesn't affect them the way it does us in America. Number one, it's not processed. And number two, they're more active. Let me say that again. Number one, they don't take it through a process. And number two, they're more active. So being that we live a more what they call the sedentary lifestyle, because in China and all those other places, they drive and they have cars just like the rest of us, but like in the surrounding villages and all that other kind of nature, in the rural areas, they walk. Hey, Tanisa, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. Walk, ride bikes. They actually work in the rice field, so it's more physical activity. So they need that white rice to fuel them, to get them through their day. Even earlier on in our agriculture findings or day in the United States, rice and potatoes were not considered bad, because people got up in the morning, prepared their day, and most of what they did throughout the day was physical labor. It is what it is. But being now that technology, remember I told you, is more convenient, but most things that are to our convenience may not be to our benefit. So one of the examples that I use, back almost, I don't know how long a car has been around now, but we're like in over, let's say 200 years ago, before a car. If I wanted to go vacation in Miami, either I had to get my horse and buggy, hitch it up, or just get up in the morning and say, hey, I'm going to Miami, and start walking. It is what it is. So we walked everywhere. So the white rice, the potatoes, and all of that, when we were more physically active, didn't have the effect that it has on us today because we live a more sedentary lifestyle, which means less activity. All right. So we're going to talk about, I talked about that white rice is brown rice. It has the bran germ removed. So it's a process that takes place. As a result, the rice lacks some antioxidants, which are B vitamins, minerals, fats, fiber, and a small amount of protein. So brown rice does have protein in it because the bran is still there. So I don't understand why we don't want bran on our rice. That's a whole other story. So let's talk about sugars. We're rolling right along. So we're talking about why you should consider not eating white foods, okay? Hey, Orlando, thank you for joining on. Hey, Virginia, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. All righty. So we're talking about why you should consider that. I'm Dr. Grace. I am managing owner of Bethesda Holistic Center and everything new so you can be the healthiest you from the inside out. We're located in Southfield, Michigan, and at 21411 Civic Center Drive in Southfield, Michigan. And if you want to get in touch with us, it's 248-356-1111. That's our phone number. But our website address is www.bw-center.com. We have a free download. So the same as our website, which is www.bw-center.com/MM for Medical Monday. Please get the free download about what we're talking about tonight, because this small change about considering just taking white products out of your food choices can make a grave impact in your health from the inside out. So let's talk about raw sugar versus processed. Sugar and the raw are both simple refined sugars, since sugar is essentially empty calories. Okay, so again, sugar didn't become a problem until we became more sedentary or less active. Okay, so it has a high potential of weight gain, increased triglycerides, and American or Heart Association recommends that women shouldn't consume more than 6 teaspoons of sugars daily. Okay, that for women. So teaspoons liquid wise is what we call 5 mLs. So you guys know it's teaspoon. You should not drink or consume more than 6 teaspoons sugars a day. Okay, so that's about 100 calories worth. And for men, should not do 9 teaspoons daily, about 150 calories worth. The dietary guidelines for Americans are that Americans limit their calories to 10% of their total daily calorie intake. Okay, but you guys know, if you're a soda pop drinker or a pop drinker, when you drink your pop, that's it. I mean, it's tons and tons of sugar in that. You just blew that. So, but anyway, you got to be mindful of the fact of the sugar intake that you have. So, there's different type of sugars. Let's talk about sugar substitutes, which is a white product, and I think I shared this with you guys before. I've had some of my patients that are diabetics, and they're using sugar substitutes. And hey, Susan, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share, that are using sugar substitutes and they can't control their sugars. And I had this one patient, we decided that she was not going to use sugar and not she used regular sugar, stay within the guidelines of the amount of sugar she should have a day, and stop the sugar substitutes. And now we're able to control her sugars. So again, we need to stay as natural as possible because God created and designed us for that purpose. So if we need natural products within us for our body to recognize it and utilize it in the proper manner and the proper way, we need to adhere to that. God knew what he was doing. Okay, so the next white product. Hey, Maria, thank you for joining on. The next thing I want to talk about is milk. So think about this, guys. We are the only mammal that drinks another mammal's milk, free of choice and free will. We are the only mammal that drinks another mammal's milk, free choice and free will. So, you know, or we are the only mammal that 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 uses or drink processed milk for our children by choice. Okay, so we really need to think about that. So think about that for a minute. Okay, so let's talk about formula. And then I have within the last 10 years, I have never seen the amount of reactions to infants to uh, manufactured formulas. I mean, I've seen some horrible skin issues. Yes, being exposed to manufactured formulas versus breast milk. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just going to be honest with you. So, and then at the age of 12 months, then they say that you can switch them over to cow's milk. Hey, Maybelline, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. Thank you for joining on. So, but cow's milk, okay, let's talk about that for a minute. A glass of milk also contains acidic animal protein that leaches calcium for bones. But we hear this logo that milk does the body what? Yes, we hear that. And then we hear that, you know, milk, dairy products helps with calcium. But if it has acid in it and it's leaching calcium from our bones, how is that really doing our bones any good? Okay. And then you got to understand that due to the agriculture or the, oh, I should say agriculture, but due to how the dairy farms are utilized, they inject the cows with antibiotics, hormones, and steroids. So let's say even before that, let's say before that, right? Hey, Virginia, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. Before they do that process, let's just say as a natural, organically, that milk is produced for a cow to give a calf to become a huge cow. So why would we want to ingest that and drink that and think that we're not going to become big as a cow? I mean, let's just be realistic about this and use some common sense. I know my mom used to tell me common sense is not common, but you just need to think about that for a minute. And then so, and dairy products, period. So that's not only white fortified milk with vitamin D and vitamin and nutrients and stuff like that, but that's all dairy products. So that's the cheeses, that's the yogurts. Yogurts is a whole nother subject, which I'm about to talk about right now because we're talking about dairy right now. Yogurts have, depending on the yogurt, have tons of sugar in it. So remember that they're saying that 6 teaspoons daily for a woman, about 9 for a man. In my mind, that should at least should be for me, if they're making that recommendation, it should at least be half of that. And so you really have to take in consideration dairy as one of your food choices. Well, I should say product choices that you might want to consider from eliminating from your body. So then your question is that I get sometimes, well, how am I going to get my calcium? So how am I going to keep my bones strong and all that other kind of stuff? Let your food be your medicine. You can also supplement. There's calcium, and there's certain ways and combinations that you should be taking your supplements. So you know, multivitamins. In my mind, and this is just Dr. Grace talking, and I went to medical school and I've done my own research and studying and things of that nature. Multivitamins are good. I mean, if you're taking them, you're getting the energy that you're needing, your hair is growing, your nails are strong, you feel good. If that's good for you, stick that for you. Hey, Debbie, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. Hey, Debbie, Debbie Sims, her and her husband does a marriage ministry that comes on after me tonight around about 10 o'clock. I normally, when I join on, I share the video, their live stream. Very, very powerful. They have a lot of nuggets in regards to relationships. I'm believing God for my special person to be coming into my life, and it's preparing me for that. And then not only that, it's not only the principles that they teach about relationships is not only for a significant other. You can apply those principles for friendships. You can apply those same principles for any type of relationship, family relationships, business relationships, and things of that nature. So I'm going to thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share as you come on. So, but anyway, let's get back to we were talking about yogurt. You need to be an avid label reader in regards to the sugar and all that other kind of stuff. Oh, I forgot to tell this about milk. One of the things that they talk about, that milk contains pus cells. Isn't that gross? Pus cells, bovine growth hormone, and sometimes it even has fecal material, which makes kind of sense. You have the udders down there, and then you have the cow, the tail, and it's flicking back and forth. Ugh, it's just, ew, just think about that. Ugh. But anyway, you guys need to, now don't get me wrong, I love some cheese. But I told you guys that I'm a vegan in progress. So, and then our family and I just recently came over this huge bout of food poisoning this past week. I had all vegan food, but I think it was the restaurant. But anyway, but my family, they had meat, so they're kind of like on a meat strike right now, which is kind of good because then I have some people that I can encourage me, and I can encourage them in regards to decreasing the meat intake in their lives. So, but anyway, we talked about bread, we talked about rice, we talked about sugars, we talked about milk. I'm sorry, guys, I gotta lift this up to see my notes here. Let me see what we got here going on here. We talked about milk. So let's see what the next topic in regards to that. Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. You got to remember this. If you decide to take something out of your body that your body is used to having, that is a form of detox. So I've had someone very close to me and dear to my heart. They asked me, well, I decided to take sugar out of my food choices, and I am catching a healing, or I can't remember how they phrased it, but they have seen weight being released as a result of it, number one. But they're saying that their body is feeling kind of funny, because you got to think about it. If this person has been doing sugar all their life, now they decided not to do sugar, your body is like, hey, what's up? Basically. And I've talked about this before in regards to people, high blood pressure. Let me use that for example. Hypertension, high blood pressure, anyone that's under the sound of my voice. It's called the silent killer, because the pressure is so high, your body acclimates to the high pressure. So when a person starts taking high blood pressure medication, or even eating right, their body has to adjust to the lower blood pressure. So sometimes they may feel a little lightheaded or dizzy, may feel a little funny, or whatever the case may be, but that's normal. Your body is getting back to being adjusted to its normal state. So a lot of people say, I don't want to take this medication because it's making me feel funny. No, the medication is regulating your blood pressure and putting it back to the place where it's supposed to be. Your good eating habits is putting you in a state where your body needs to be. I even had people tell me that when they tried the natural foods that I highly recommend from Isagenix company, they're like, this food makes me feel funny. That's because you used to eat, I'm just gonna be real, that's because you used to eating garbage. So your body is like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with this. And it's going back and it's detoxing, and it's getting back to a place where it needs to function optimally. And the body is going through something. You are going to feel something. You are not going to feel your best because it's going through changes. So my recommendation for people that are starting new high blood pressure medication, or trying to eat right and it's feeling kind of funny, just, tell your doctor, number one, or you can call us at 248-356-1111. We can walk you through the process again. So your body can acclimate to what the body is originally designed. We are so far away from or some of us are so far away from how God created us and designed us to operate that it's the challenge number one to tap into that spirit of discipline, which is what I call self-love, loving yourself enough to say, hey, I can't operate the way that I have been. I just don't, I mean, I don't feel the person, you don't feel good. So, and then when you start to get into that mode of doing it right, you may feel a little, you heard that saying, sometimes things will get a little worse before they get a little better. That's what happens. So when you go through this detox process, like I said, removing what we talked about tonight from your diet, from your food choices, I should say, you need to have a plan to do that. You shouldn't do it all at one time. You should not do it without doctor's guidance or a nutritionist input or something like that. You need to have someone to coach you through this. And that's what Bethesda Holistic Center and Everything New is here for. So you need to go to www.bw-center.com, which is our website. We also have a link where you can click and go on there and make an appointment so we can do that. We're offering a meal review concierge consultation for only $99. You are worth $99. Okay. This is an hour and 15-minute session, will allow you to go over your eating habits. I will take you through the process of assessing what you're doing. What are you doing wrong? What are you doing right? And how can you be better at what you're doing or not doing? So that's why I get on Medical Monday, to not only educate you with the information that I'm giving you now, but also to be available to you for you to have a lifestyle change. This is not something to, like, I want to get down to a certain dress size and then go back to your old habits once you get to that dress size, because then you only stay at that dress size for a hot minute. No, this needs to be something, a lifestyle change. This needs to be something that you do for the rest of your life. Okay, to extend your life, to have longevity, to have excitement in regards to what God has called you to do, or your work, your activity, whatever the case may be. That's what we're here from. So now I'm going to talk about intermittent fasting. One of the programs that we recommend, which is 3-2-1, which is a meal, 2 real meal replacement, a meal of your choice, and 3 snacks, and of course cleansing and all of that, detoxing and all of that kind of stuff. But we also recommend intermittent fasting. Okay, the benefit for intermittent fasting, not only for spiritual reasons but for health reasons, it has been scientifically proven. Hey Doris, thank you for joining on. It has been scientifically proven the people that fast live longer. Okay, so and that is because I'm gonna give you a crash course for those of you who are providers or doctors under the sound of my voice. I want to challenge you to go back and revisit your biochemistry. Your biochemistry when you were in medical school was taught to you for pharmaceutical reasons. If you guys don't know, I'm telling the truth. It was 2 months of biochem, and all of it was mapped out for you in all these different cycles and stuff, but they had drugs at different pathways to tell you this is how the drug works. Hey, Nicole, thank you for joining, and even nurses, because Nicole is a nurse. We're talking about, I'm challenging people to go back to biochemistry, because when they were taught biochemistry, they were taught it from a pharmaceutical perspective. Hey, Tina, my sister, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for joining on. So I'm challenging you providers, you healthcare providers, be it nurse practitioner, doctors, physician assistants, holistic teachers, neuropathic teachers, homeopathic providers, go back and revisit your biochemistry, because what it does, we were taught in medical school biochemistry from a pharmaceutical perspective, but you need to know your biochemistry from a perspective of that is how can I say this, for health assessment and supplement for the body to operate in the way that it was created to operate. That's why we need to know biochemistry. And I challenge you to go back and look at those pathways. And those pathways are those enzymes and those cofactors, those minerals and those cofactors for those enzymes and vitamins and stuff like that help the body with those pathways. We are not taught that in medical school. At least I wasn't. And maybe it's different now because medical school for me has been 20 years ago. I don't know what it is like now. So for those of you that are under my side of my voice, if you're in medical school now, it might be different. I don't know. But most of our professors and people that taught us had PhDs that were researchers that was doing research for these pharmaceutical companies and these drugs. So I was thinking about this all day when I was talking about it. Let me tell you how challenging medical school was and dealing with trying to get through playing the game. Yes, you know that whole story. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Let me tell you what they did. We would do our exams, and then, a group of us or a friend of mine, we would go over the exams because at the end of the course, the exams were cumulative. So we would go through the exams to see what we got right and what we got wrong. And if we got the answer wrong, we would look up the right answer to prepare us for the final exam. Let me tell you, we were looking for the answer to, because we had what we call crib notes or scribe notes. We had people that were in class or the professor would provide notes to us. Okay, so we were looking for the answer to this one test, one question on the test. Guess where the answer was? It was in the footnote of a note. I kid you not. It was in a footnote of a note, the answer to an exam question. I kid you not. But anyway, so I said all of that to say, I challenge you, those that are under the sound of my voice, to go back to your biochemistry, especially you healthcare providers. I know there's pharmaceutical reps that are out there that are, promoting different type of drugs, cutting edge drugs that are supposed to help people and things of that nature. But you got to remember that pharmaceuticals are just treating and masking symptoms. They are not actually getting to the root of the problem. So I challenge you to go back to your biochemistry. If you're a provider under the sound of my voice and you want some guidance on how to make sure that your patients are doing better and how they can control their sugars and diabetes or whatever the case may be better, I have gotten a lot of my diabetics hemoglobin A1C down to a normal number. They tell us they want it below 7. But anything that's below 6 or 5.6 is considered normal. The majority of my compliant diabetic patients are on a certain combination of supplements that I've told them to buy. So if you're a doctor under the sound of my voice and you want some guidance on that, because guess what? CMS and healthcare insurance are looking for a downward trend for your hemoglobin A1Cs for your diabetics patients to decide whether or not they're going to decrease your reimbursement from macro MIPS and all that other kind of stuff. So most oftentimes that the pharmaceutical drugs are not working because number one, the patients are not compliant. And number two, some of them just don't work. So if you are a healthcare provider that's under the sound of my voice that is looking for ways to take care of our patients better, and also to leverage or offset what is coming down the line in regards to billables and reimbursements from insurance companies, you need to get ahead of the curve and ahead of the game to make sure that your bottom line or your bottom dollar is not hindered or suffered because of the new criteria and governing guidelines that are coming. You have to be ahead of that. And I would like to say that great Dr. Grace here at Bethesda Holistic Center, I thank God and I give him all the honor and the glory and the praise that we are ahead of the curve in regards to that and transitioning, and that you, as a physician now, and anyone that's under the sound of my voice, be it that you have a job, be it that you're a nurse, be it whatever you may be, you should not I heard it said best by my friend Jonah Stout. The roof that's over your head or your house should not be dependent on one stream of income. Or if you're married, two streams of income, or whatever the case may be. Because if that one stream dries up or something happens, you get laid off or whatever, now what? So you need to have new ideas of way of getting income to you. And even if you're not a provider, if you want to help people in the health industry or whatever the case may be, we can help you do that as well. So please, you can call us at 248-356-1111, 248-356-1111. Please get the free download about what we talked about tonight. Go to www.bwcenter.com/info Medical Monday. Now, let me tell you this. Let's talk about cold turkey versus weaning. Cold turkey just means just stopping all of a sudden, okay? And most oftentimes when people stop stuff all of a sudden, like I said, that's a form of a detox. And then people's body reacts different ways, and they may not feel as good as, as they are going through the process. So those of you that are under the sound of my voice, even providers, nurses, or whatever the case may be, or you may just be a patient going to your doctor, and you want to be to stop maybe a certain medication, you want to stop a certain food, you want to stop a certain habit, whatever the case may be, you might have to go through a weaning process. You should never stop a medication cold turkey. Let me say that again. You should never stop a medication cold turkey. You should never stop a medication without doctor supervision. You should never stop a medication without letting your doctor know. It's not safe. Okay? It is not safe to do that. Same thing with your food habits and all that other kind of stuff. There is no difference. Your food is your medicine. So if you have been exercising, not so healthy choices in your life, and now you want to make better choices, you need to come up with a plan to get you there where you need to go, because you can do something that is startling and shocking to your body that is not safe. So again, our offer tonight is a $99 meal review concierge consultation with me, yours truly. And so we could take you through that process. You are worth $100, okay? So, and most of you probably eat $100 worth of bad stuff in 5 days anyway, Monday through Friday. So instead of blowing $20 on fast food, just put $20 in a jar and make better choices. And then schedule your meal review concierge consultation with me. Easy peasy, nice and breezy. We can do that for you. It'll be an hour and 15 minutes of me going through in fine detail of your review of your meal choices and planning. Okay, so one of the offers we also want to offer, one of the things is called Cleanse for Life. It's a synergistic blend of natural cleansing herbs and antioxidants, biobotanicals to help support the cell's own detoxification process. So if you decide that, I'm going to remove all the white stuff from out of my food choices, I can tell you the best way to do that and what you need to do to detox yourself going through that process. The Cleanse for Life help eliminate stubborn fat and supports metabolism. It nourishes the body's own detoxification system, because you have a detoxification system. The main two, there's more than just two, but the main two is your kidneys and your liver. And and it has powerful antioxidant nourishment that protects your body while you're going through this process. So I highly recommend that you guys look into that. Go to www.bw-center.com to order it now, or you can go to the direct link. Once you get the download, the direct link is right there, so you can do it like that. So hopefully this was helpful to you. I'm going to do a brief recap, recap of everything that we talked about. For those that you're coming in on the end or missed what we already talked about, you need to go back and replay and look at this video on Facebook Live, or go to YouTube, which is Medical Monday, Grace Patterson, and we talked about bread. We talked about white rice versus brown rice. We talked about sugars, raw versus processed. We talked about milk products, dairy products. We talked about that. I even talked about potatoes. Let me talk. I think I talked about that for a minute. Potatoes used to be what we call poor man's meat years, centuries ago, because a lot of people, based upon their social economical status, could not afford meat. Unless they were hunter gatherers, or they did their own hunting and caught their meat to eat meat. Most people were farmers. They grew everything, and potatoes was a good source of energy for a person that did a lot of work. So, but being now that we are not no longer in the agriculture age, or we're living more sedentary lives, potatoes are not considered something that we should partake of or partake in because of that reason. We talked about gluconeogenesis, which is the principle of intermittent fasting. One of the things I did not talk about, which I'm going to talk about right now, about gluconeogenesis. Why is that so important? When you are abstaining from food and you're not eating, your body is getting rid of things that's in the body that it can say, hey, I could take that and get rid of that for you, and I can use it and produce the energy that you're needing while you're not abstaining from eating food right now. And that could be any bad toxins in the body. The body can use that. One of the things that it does, when a person is abstaining from food, it takes lactic acid, which is a byproduct or a waste product in the body from exercise. So your body burns that and use that to form sugar for the cells, or glucose for the cells that the body needs to operate and function. So when you do intermittent fasting, it actually is a form of detoxing and using things. Okay, so when we eat, your body breaks down the food and takes the sugar that it needs to go into the cells for the body for that. So what happens most oftentimes with people, they eat too much. So after the body utilizes the sugar that it needs, it says, I got all this residual glucose left over. Body, what am I supposed to do with it? And the body is like, I know what we could do with it. We could make fat. So that's where fat comes from. So intermittent fasting not only disciplines your body into the right amount of intake that it should be taking, but it also helps burn things that are in our body that we might not necessarily need. It helps reset the detoxification process through your kidneys and your liver and things of that nature. So it's very, very important that we do that. That's what we talked about. We talked about removing these foods from your body as a form of detox, and it should be treated as such. We talked about cold turkey versus weaning. I talked about biochemistry. For those of you under the sound of my voice that are medical providers or caregivers or whatever the case may be, we talked about that. If you're a doctor under the sound of my voice and you're interested in getting those hemoglobin A1Cs down with a combination of supplements, please give us a call at 248-356-1111. Email us I think it's at info@bw-center.com, and we can engage you and give you the information that you need. I'm also thinking about coming up with a mini course for providers, nurse practitioners, PAs, and doctors, and alike, that are interested in taking care of their patient, incorporating what they're doing for them right now allopathically with some natural things that you can incorporate and getting your patients where you want them to be in regards to being the best patient that they can be. Hey, Gwendolyn, appreciate you for coming on. Please invite, and share. We're about to get off in about 10 minutes. But anyway, I appreciate you jumping on. Better late than never. But anyway, I appreciate you joining on. Thank you so much. So for those of you that are under the sound of my voice, if this is something that you're interested in, again, I'm Dr. Grace. I talked about the giveaway, the $99 meal review concierge consultation in regards for an hour and 15 minutes going over your eating habits, because we really need to talk about this and get a handle on it now, you know, even with your children now. You need to be teaching them how to eat properly at a very young age now. You can't wait until they're teenagers and then they've already developed all these poor eating habits, and then you expect them to overnight, you know, just change those habits. I mean, so we need to teach them now. And one of the things that I've seen in all my research and all my reading, and even on billboards, that children emulate what their parents do. And I think I talked about this before. Hey, Marcus, thank you for joining on. I've been knowing Marcus since kindergarten. Hey, Marcus Hightower, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. We're almost about to end the show on tonight. Please catch the replay. You can catch it on this page, the video Facebook live stream, or you can go back to YouTube and catch it. One of the things I want people to understand and know in regards to teaching your children on the proper way to eat, one of the things, the milestones that we do, one of the milestones that we do at 12 months, we check a child's cholesterol level. At 12 months, we check their hemoglobin, lead, and their cholesterol level. Those are the three things as a pediatrician that should be done, because lead is an issue. I got to talk about that another time. That could be a whole nother show. The lead issue. Hey, Natasha, thank you for joining. Please like, invite, and share. The cholesterol is an issue too. Cholesterol is just as bad as lead. Okay, so, and where do we get the most of our cholesterol from? Is from ingesting foods that we should not be eating. One of the things that I would like to say, and I hate to say, is that children only eat what the parents put in front of them, especially at that small age. So the things that we put in front of them most oftentimes is Coney Island. Hey, Patrice, thank you for joining on. Please like, invite, and share. In my career, I seen a 12-month-old with a cholesterol of 250. So that means if a 12-month-old has a cholesterol level of 250, what does the parents' cholesterol level look like? So talking to the parents, you know, they're young parents or whatever, you know, chili cheese fries with cheese, you know, Coney hot dogs, you know, French fries, you know, fried this, fried that, you know. I even met a family that fried hot dogs. I mean, in grease. Not like split them open, put them on a skillet, flip them. No, they were actually deep frying hot dogs. Never heard of that. But anyway, you know, so children need to be taught to eat fruits and vegetables. When I was coming up, I couldn't go outside and play until I ate my vegetables. I didn't like it, but, you know, it didn't kill me, you know, but my mother knew it was good for me. I don't know what's going on now. You know, it's very rare that children are made to eat their vegetables. I mean, you didn't have a choice, you know. And another thing my mama used to say, you get hungry enough, you shake hands with it. And that's true. So the point of the matter is that small children should not be given an option or given into when it comes to eating the proper way. And the only way they're going to eat the proper way if the parents are eating properly. So again, I want to say thank you so much, guys, for joining. And we got 6 minutes. Is there any questions or comments? It says, I'm changing my grocery list effective immediately. Oh, thank you, Natasha. Thank you for the awesome information. I appreciate you. Doesn't it depend on what you're frying it in? It can sometimes, but it also can, I didn't even talk about that. It also can be genetic. They say it can be genetic. See, so this is how the body works. Whatever you expose your body to, your body acclimates to. So a frying process in grease creates bonds and create bonds chemically within inside the food, or change the chemical structure of food. Then once you put it in your food to ingest it, then your body is like, what is this? I've never, I don't know what to do with this, especially if you're changing the chemical structure of what you're ingesting. And most oftentimes, when the body doesn't know what to do with something, it treats it as a toxin and it stores it as fat. And then most oftentimes, when you expose your body to something that doesn't know what to do with it, then um, it triggers things in the body to get rid of it. And then sometimes it turns things on that should not be turned on. Okay, some things can be turned on and shut off. And then sometimes things are turned on and they stay on and they should not be on for that long period of time. That's a whole nother topic. So you're right. It does depending on what you are frying it in. I don't really There's good oils and bad oils. Maybe I should do a show on that. Good oils versus bad oils. Trans fat versus non-trans fat. Trans fats, I'm going to talk about that real quickly. Trans fat, real quick. Trans fat is the grease that mama used to have on the stove that when it's cold, it solidifies and it turns white. And she used to fry that chicken and she used to take a little bit of it, bacon grease, Crisco. She used to fry that chicken and all that other kind of stuff, and that's trans fat. So think about it. If it solidifies at room temperature and become gunky, it can gunk and clog up arteries and veins throughout your whole body. So that's trans fat. Then you have non-trans fatty acids with oils that are made from plant sources. So trans fats are mostly found from meat sources or things of that nature. So those are the differences. What type of milk do you suggest? Oh, almond milk is good, especially if a person doesn't have almond allergy. Um, I try to stay away from soy milk, especially in small boys. Soy milk is closely, or soy, especially, hopefully it's what we call GMO, which it means not genetically modified. But I don't think any young boys or young men should be exposed to soy because it has a estrogenic effect. And as a boy is growing and developing, he does not need to be exposed to soy. That's just my opinion. And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. So, almond milk, coconut milk is good. Those milks are good. So, I do recommend that. What type of milk do you suggest? What is the better, almond milk or soy milk? I just talked about that. I can't drink regular milk. That's because we were not created and designed to drink another mammal's milk. So most people around the globe, most brown people are what we call lactose intolerant because we're not created for that anyway. Best cookbooks for healing and eating. Oh, best cookbook for healing and eating. I'll get a list for you for that. That's some of my secrets. You can call me. It's part of my 99 meal review concierge consultation. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, you probably need to do that. But yes, Nature's Best is a good one. I have boys. Yes, you have boys. So stay away from soy milk. Thank you. Amen. Great opinion. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Grace. Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. It is 8:59. So I try to respect your time, guys. I say I'm going to be on an hour. I try to stay on for an hour. I appreciate you guys. So again, if you want to get in touch with us, go get the free download, www.bw-center.com/mm for Medical Monday. It talks about what we talked about tonight. And then the next show, if you go ahead and sign up, it's for free. The next show, you'll get an invite to the show and you'll get the download. And so that way you can download it in advance. So when you guys come on, we can be more interactive. You have it before you can have your questions and things of that nature. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and logging on. I have April's show already mapped out, but I can't think of what the next show is going to be. We're still taking recommendations and advice to what people might want to see as a show. So please message us and say, hey, could you talk about this? Because sometimes 52 shows a year, unless I take some time off. I mean, that's a lot of information. It's trying to come up with a show. But the human body is amazing. So if whatever you guys want to talk about, it would be nice if you, again, if you would just message us and say, hey, this is something that I want to talk about. Is this something that you can talk about? We will be happy to do that for you. Is there any this is really great information. Thanks, Dr. Hey Drill, thank you. I'm looking forward for what you guys going to talk about tonight. I'm going to be inviting my network to on the show tonight about relationships. So thank you so much, guys. It is now 9:01. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And next week at the same